and said, what am I doing? Where do I start? Why am I doing this? I don't really think I'm smart enough. Man, I'm too old. I'm the oldest person in this room. Is that an equal sign or an S? So many factors come in our mind easily when all of a sudden our brain sees something and they're trying to make sense of it. They will try, I'm telling you, our brains are just awesome. But at the same time, our brains could also be our blessing and our curse. Because all the brain wants to do is to protect us. So when we see math, we immediately think about the very first time, especially the math that you guys are going to see on the test, and you immediately go back to the time that you can clearly remember when that particular teacher or classmate or friend or family member has probably made you feel this big because you didn't know and understand and be able to get the answers. So what do? They just build a worksheet with sometimes 50 questions on here, throw it at you and say, work on that. Because if you can get those problems done, that means you can get anything. But as personal experience, that doesn't work. Worksheets are great after you do an instruction, after you kind of have a good grasp of the concept. And the way our brains work, we see how our attention span is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, all because the immediacy or the instant gratification that we get from social media. So now when we're actually asked to think and actually asked to process, a lot of our students, even the younger ones, have trouble because they've never been taught how to process or how to think. They just react to situations. Just like how you do when you sit and you're trying to take a math test that you haven't seen that type of math since you were a fetus. And now that math test is holding your future in your hands. And that's how we perceive it. Just like how I perceive my tutoring business. Because I feel that I want to help as many students as I can, but I can only be in so many places at once. So that's one of the other factors, the reason why I developed my own workbook series, Algebra at Your Pace. So I'm also taking to a fact, especially those that are going back to the classroom. One, do not say that, oh, I'm just going to go back to class. No. You know how many people say they want to go back to class? You know how many people say, you know what, I should get my GED. You know what, I should really try to get this. And they don't put anything forward. But the fact that you took that step, you register for class, or you know you have a plan, even though it's a little choppy, but it's still a plan because you want to succeed. So for those that don't know me, my name is Audrey Codner. I'm the owner of Math by Audrey and ACG Math Tutoring. And what I do here, if I may change my mission statement if I want to, is I help people get over a time that was very tragic to them when it came to mathematics. I'm really trying to speak to your inner child. Maybe it was middle school. Maybe it was elementary school. When you were in a situation and it was time to do math, or maybe you had a teacher or instructor that basically used math as a punishment. Meanwhile, you're like, hey, I want to go outside, but we got to do this math problems. Oh, you didn't do what you need to do, so we're not going to recess. Instead, we're going to stay inside and do math. That's what happened to me at the great age of 3rd grade. And I still remember that. Why does math have to be perceived as a punishment? So while you are preparing for your GED, your ASVAB, your ACCUPLACER, all of a sudden that traumatized little kid is coming on out. And you're just like, I want to get this done, but every time I study, every time I prepare, the scores are not showing it. What am I doing wrong? And who's there to say, this is what you're doing wrong, this is what you need to correct? That's the other reason why I developed Algebra at Your Pace. So for those that are coming in, one, Sunday night, thank you so much, especially on a nice, hot, beautiful day, hence the bun. If you want me to show you, I want to show you a math problem. And it's usually one that is usually missed. And if you're doing a GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, any kind of high school equivalency examination, even SAT, ACT, I'll just put the word yes in the chat and we can get started with one of the problems. So one, you can see how I teach, how I break concepts down. You can see what the hype is all about, right? So for all those that are coming in, thank you, William, for the follow. Appreciate that. Thank you, everyone that's joining in. I appreciate you guys. Okay, so if you want me to get started and to show one math problem, which is actually going to be a 4-point question problem for my GED people, and also that one advanced problem to get out of the 40s for those that are taking the ASVAB, go ahead and put the word yes in the comments, and then I can get started. So for those, while we wait, all I need is just one yes. Thank you guys for joining in. All right, Britt, thanks for joining in. Sweet K, thank you for your yes. Appreciate that. Okay, Christy, thank you for joining. Maria, thank you for joining. I know a lot of people. Hey, John, how are you? How are you feeling? I know you feel empowered. You got this, John. Okay, Diamond, thank you so much with the yes. Hey, my mister from another mister. How are you? All right, so let's take a gander. Now, one of the 4-point questions that a lot of people generally messed up on is graphing. Now, graphing linear equations in particular, because a lot of people are just like, yesterday, oh yes, thank you, Kay, appreciate it. So one of the things with graphing that usually freaks a lot of people out, let me see if I can clear this up a little bit. Okay, that's probably good. So the one thing that a lot of people usually kind of get caught up on is how to graph an equation of a line. So right now, I'm going to show you not one, not two, but 3 ways. So the first way deals with what's called intercepts. And we have 2 different types of intercepts. We have an x-intercept and we have a y-intercept. Because when you're looking at your coordinate plane, you have a line that goes left to right. This is your x-axis. And then you will have another number line that's going up and down. That is your y-axis. So all a coordinate plane is 2 number lines intersecting at a common point, which is at 0. Okay? So in order for you to basically graph a line by using the intercepts, we need to know what an x-intercept is. So it's where the line crosses or intersect the x-axis. So that means you're going to have a number for your x, but your y value is going to equal 0. Similar to the y-intercept, it's where the line crosses the y-axis. So that means your x is going to be 0 and your y is going to be a number. So the x-intercept, the y's are 0, the y-intercept, the x's are 0. Okay, so this is what we're doing. This is one of 3 ways on how we can graph. So I know there's going to be a lot of people, why don't you just do da-da-da-da? I'm going to get through all 3 ways, okay? We're going to relax. So now, they gave us an equation. So this is the best part about it. If I'm trying to find the x-intercept, I know my y values are going to be 0. So if I rewrite this, which I am, I'm going to write it up here. So I have my 3x plus 2y, but instead of a y, I'm going to put a 0 in its place. Okay, so I'm using the equation. For the x-intercepts, we make our y values 0. So the y is out, the 0 is in. Okay, all right? Because if I do an x-intercept, my y's is not going to be located. It's going to be at 0. If it's just crossing the x-axis, your y value is going to be 0. So now we have 2 times 0. So remember, we want to do that multiplication before addition or subtraction. So 2 times 0 is going to be 0. But I don't need to write that 0 down as a placeholder because I still have this 3x that I need to bring down. Okay? All right. So now we have 3x is equal to 6. So we want to solve for x. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 3. And the reason why I'm dividing, because 3x is 3 times x. The inverse of multiplication is division. So that means 3 divided by 3 gives me 1x, or just x. And then 6 divided by 3 will give me 2. So what you just found is an ordered pair. And ordered pairs always goes x then y, just like the alphabet. So our x is 2, and our y value is 0. So that's going to be the coordinate of the x-intercept for this particular line. All right. So now we're going to do the same thing, but for the y-intercept. So that means we're going to make our x values equal 0. So if I write it, it's going to be 3 plus 2y is equal to 6. So in the place of the x, I'm going to put a 0. So we know that 3 times 0, that's going to give me 0. And I don't have to put the 0 down as a placeholder. So now all I have to do is bring down my 2y equals 6. Okay. So now when we are dividing, because we want to get the y by itself, divide by the 2. And now we have y is equal to 3. So what you found is the ordered pair for the y-intercept, which the x value is going to be 0 and the y value is going to be 3. Okay. So now all we have to do is plot those points. Now, I actually had a student that said, I struggle with plotting points. So let me show you. So we're going to start with this first point, 2, 0. When you're about to plot points, this is what I like to do. I like to start at that point of intersection, at that 0, 0. So the 2 is a positive 2, and it's my x value. So x values always goes left to right. So right is your positive numbers, left is your negative numbers. So that means I'm going to the right 2. And my y is 0. That means I do not go up or down. I just stay right where I am. So I can confidently plot this point right here. Now if I want to plot my 0, 3, again I'm starting at the point of intersection, at the 0s, called the origin. Now my x value is 0, so that means I'm not moving left or right. I'm staying right where I am. But then I have a positive 3, so that means I'm going up 3 and able to plot by point. So all I need is 2 points. So when I have those 2 points, I can draw my line. And you want to draw your line all the way through. Okay. All right. So this is using the intercepts. If your equation is in what's called standard form, this is how you graph an equation of a line. You can use the x and y intercepts. Now let's say The second way is dealing with a table of contents. So let me push this up, rewrite. So our equation is going to be 3x plus 2y is equal to 6. And say I want to get a table. So my x values and my y values. So the x values are going to be your input, the y values is going to be your exponent. Okay? Hey, Ty. So now, traditionally, this is what a lot of teachers like to use. I like to have 0, but I like to have two numbers that are negative, so -2, -1, and then two positive numbers to give me a good idea of how to break things down. Hi, Ty. All right, so this is what you're basically doing. You are substituting these numbers into this equation to come up with the y values. So I know if I plug in a -2, so this is what it looks like. 3 times our -2, it's going in for the x, plus 2y is equal to 6. Okay. All right. So now we have 3 times -2. That gives me a -6. And I bring everything down. So now I want the whole goal is to get the variable by itself. So dark skin, I just basically picked 5, and I like to pick like 2 negatives, a 0, and 2 positives. That's usually like a general rule, okay? But you can pick any value for your x's to plug in. All right, make sense? Okay. So now we're going to add this 6 on both sides, because the goal is, hey, Big G Money, the goal is to get our y by itself. So -6 and +6, that's going to give me a 0. Now we have our 2y is equal to 6 plus 6, which gives us 12. So now I want to divide both sides by 2. Then we have our y is equal to 6, because 12 divided by 2 gives us 6. So what you found is an ordered pair. -2, 6 is going to be a point on this line. Okay. We can do the same thing with the -1. Change up a little bit. So we have 3 times -1 plus 2y is equal to 6. 3 times -1, that gives us a -3. Bring everything down. So now we need to isolate this 2y. So that -3 needs to go. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to add 3 to both sides. So now we have 2y is equal to 9. And I know right away a lot of people are going to freak out. Why do you think a lot of people are going to freak out right now? I know it. You're probably like, oh my God, is she in my house? No, I'm not in your house. I just know. This is the part that a lot of people are going to start freaking out. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Okay. There is a lot of steps. That's why, Michelle, this is the second way of doing it. Yes, Ashley is saying fraction. Star is saying fraction. Okay? Dark skin, I saw you. Dark skin dime, I got you. All right? This is when all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I must have did something wrong because, see, thank you, lovely bones, right? All of a sudden they're like, oh wait, because I know if I divide by 2, it's not going to give me a whole number. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a trauma that was thrown upon us because we had a lot of people, either teachers, sometimes workbooks early on, they didn't show too much of fractions or decimals until like later on. So when you get so used and comfortable with having nice round numbers, then all of a sudden you see a fraction, you think you did something wrong. The only way you can tell that you did something wrong is to plug it back into the original to see if it works. Okay? So now we have 9 divided by 2, not 8. It is supposed to be a 9. Okay? It is supposed to be a 9. So 9 halves. Okay? 9 halves. If you want to keep it as 9 halves, you can. But I know graphing wise, it'll be nice if it was a decimal. So 9 halves is not exactly 4, but it's 4 point what? Okay, yes, we're going to get a decimal. What is that decimal? 9 divided by 2. There we go, Liv. There we go, Robert. There we go, Star. There we go with the 4.5. Yes, we got with the 4.5s. Okay, there we go, Scoopman. Thank you, Star. Thank you. All right. So, because, let me slide over a little bit more. If I'm looking at 9 divided by 2, I want to know how many 2's can go into 9. I know 4 of them can. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Because 4 times 2 gives me 8. And then 9 minus 8, that gives me 1. So if I put my decimal in both in the dividend and the quotient and add a 0 in the dividend so I can bring it down. So now we're not looking at a 1, we're looking at a 10. All right, so how many 2's can go into 10? Exactly 5. All right, so this is why I want you to kind of practice the way that you're going to assess. Okay, practice the way that you're going to assess. So what you just found is the y value for the -1. Okay. Now, if I plug the 0 in for the x, we already did that. We did that for the y-intercept. Okay, when we plugged the 0 for the x. And what did we get out? If we put the input, the 0, we got an export of 3. I'm going to be okay, guys. I really am. All right. So now this time, this is another mistake that a lot of people generally do. Okay. When they saw, oh, at -1, I got 4.5. So that means at 1, I'm also going to get 4.5. Or they're saying, oh, I'm probably going to get -4.5. How do you know unless you plug it in? Okay, so here we go. We have our 3 times 1 plus 2y is equal to 6. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, subtract the 3. Positive 3 minus 3 gives me 0. Then we have our 2y is equal to 6 minus 3. So 6 minus 3 because we're subtracting, that gives us 3. There you go. And I know you're starting to freak out again. Because you're like, wait, because if I divide by 2, I'm not getting a whole number. I must have did something wrong. No, you didn't. You know how you did something right? Because you did the process. 3 times 1 gives us 3. In order for me to move this 3 to the other side of the equal sign, I have to do the inverse. That's why you subtracted the 3. Thank you, Diamond. There it is. Now we have our 2y is equal to 3 divided by 2, or 1.5. So just because when you plugged in a -1, you got 4.5, we're not looking at what's called a parabola, which is usually found in the quadratics. This is supposed to give us a straight line. Okay? All right. What is your question? Wow. Wow's not the question. What's maybe a little bit good for a 3? What's the 3? What's your question, Lovely Bones? To an input. Can ask us the answer to an input. Oh, what is an input? So it's what you're putting in to the equation. That will be what the input is. Is that what you're asking? No? Okay. No, it's not the fractions. Okay. It asks us the input and you just showed us. Yes, on any test it can ask us the input. Yes. So why did I use these numbers? Now if they said, now I'm showing you 3 different ways of answering the same question. Now we see how long and tedious this way is. But if they said for us to use a table, you can pick any input. I like to pick at least 1 or 2 negatives, 1 and 2 positives, and a 0. Okay? So how to get the answer? So you have to plug it in to your equation. So we're getting there. All right? So if I just use, let's say, based off of time, if I can just use these points, I have -2, 6, that's going to be a point. -1, 4.5, that's going to be a point. 0, 3, that's going to be a point. And 1 and 1.5, that's going to be a point. So let me show you. I'm going to go back to this. So we are at -2, 6. So if I start here at the origin, I'm going to go -2 on the x-axis, so to the left 2, and then 6, that means I'm going to go up 6. So that's past the court, so that's going to be somewhere up here. Because our graph only goes up to 5, so 6 has to be somewhere up here. The next point is -1, 4.5, starting at the origin. So you're going to go to the left 1, and then you go up 4 and halfway before you get to 5. That's this point right here. Okay. Yes, it is taught in my book. Yep. Yes. So then you have 0, 3 is the next point. So I'm starting here at the origin. Hold on. Frozen for a second. Starting here at the origin. Now I'm going to go up 3. There's that point right there. The next point is 1, 1.5. Starting at the origin. 1 is a positive 1, so I go to the right 1, and then I go up 1.5. That point is right here. So you can just use 2 points to make your straight line. But I'm just trying to show you that all your points are going to be in. And then the last one was 2, and if I plugged a 2 in, I would have gotten a 0, which we already found, which was our x-intercept. So this is how another way you can get your equation line by plugging in into an input as tables. Okay? Now, so step 1, x and y intercepts. Step 2, a little tedious, but it's doable, using a table. Now the last one, I'm going to clean this up quite a bit. The last one is to basically go from this standard form to what's called slope-intercept form. Okay? Alright, so slope-intercept form. So how do you order my books? As soon as the live is over, I have a link in my profile. Just click on there. You can buy individual digital books, and also you can do physical books. Everything is all inside my Stan Store. Alright? Okay. Oh, that man, how are you doing? How's things going? It's been a minute. So, let me show you how to go from this standard form, which is 3x plus 2y equals 6. And you're going to go from this standard form to what's called slope-intercept form, which everybody knows as y equals mx plus b. We have this memorized, but it's the application piece that's always missing. Alright? So, what you're basically doing, for me to go from standard form to slope-intercept form, is I'm solving this equation for y. That's what I'm doing. So right now, the 2, the positive 2, is associated with the y. Okay, so we're not doing anything. Oops. We're not doing anything with that 2. But this 3x needs to go to the other side. Right? You tell him that, man. Alright? In order for me to move the 3x to the other side, I'm going to subtract it. So I'm not going to bring down a 0x. The x's are gone. They're on the other side of the equal sign. There you go. So now we have 2y is equal to negative 3x plus 6. If you said 6 minus 3x, that's fine as well. Okay? I'll show you another way. So with this, we need to get y by itself. What should I do next in order for me to get y by itself? What should I do next? So Scoopman is saying divided by 2. Burpacup saying divided by 2. I love your names. Darkskin saying divided by 2. Lightning Bug divided by 2. Divide everything by 2. User 75. Good. John, we got 6 divided by 2. Yes. But remember, we want to divide everything. And this is me personally. I like to make sure I divide everything by 2. Some people like to draw a whole division line and put the 2 underneath, but then what happens is they divide the 6 and the 2, but they forget about the fraction that's being developed right here with the coefficient of x. So that's why I like to individualize it. Because then 2 divided by 2, that gives me 1y, or just y. Now, this negative 3 over 2, keep it. Do not make it into a decimal. Don't make this into a decimal. Because, ladies and gentlemen, that's your m. Notice the m is next to the x. Your m is also your slope. And we know slope as rise over run. Okay? It's supposed to be a fraction. When you're dealing with slope, it's naturally a fraction. Don't make it into a decimal, because if I'm doing graphing, it's going to be hard for me to graph a decimal. It'll be so much easier with that. Now, plus 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So now we have our equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Okay? In slope-intercept form. So, let me recopy this up top so we can have everything close to our graph. I'm going to write it right smack here. So we got y equals negative 3 over 2 x plus 3. All right. And it's going to be a negative. I like to have the numerator carry the negative. What happens with negative slopes, you can decide if you want the numerator or the denominator to carry the negative. Majority of people like to have the numerator. So this is how you graph it. This is traditionally how a lot of people like to graph their equation line. And this is where people are like, okay, I did all this solving, yay me, but where do I start to graph this craziness? You always start here at the constant. This is your starting point. And it's known as your y-intercept. Hence the name slope-intercept form. Okay? That's where you start. So here I am at the origin. My starting point is a plus 3. That means it's a positive 3. I'm putting a point right smack here. That's where I start. This is my home. Now, your slope is another way of saying a form of direction. Later on in life, you're going to learn something about a vector, but I don't want to kill your brain with that right now. It's almost like it's giving you directions on where to draw your next point. I like to think of these blocks as neighborhood blocks. Right now, we're at my house. I need to go, and I say I need to go to a party. And this is the directions that was given to me. I need to go down 3 blocks and then go to the right 2 blocks. And I'm starting not at the origin, but at the y-intercept. So from here, I'm going down 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3. Notice I didn't stay here and I said 1, then 2, then 3. I start here, I go 1, 2, 3, and then it's a positive 2, so that means I'm going to the right 2. 1, 2, and plotting my point. This is where the party's at. Okay? When you're walking in the neighborhoods, just in case you're not from the city, you don't want to walk in between or through people's homes. They don't really like that, especially here in Baltimore or Philly. Okay? Right? Yes, because my hand's in the way. I'm holding on to the last of it. So I start here at the 3, then I go down 3, 1, 2, 3, to the right 2, 1, 2, plot my point. Once I got my 2 points, boom, draw your line. And always put your arrowheads. When you draw your line, draw them nice and long. Don't be selfish. I'm just going to draw from here to here. No, that's not a line. That's a segment. A little bit of geometry right there. Okay? So no matter which way you picked, take a look. You get the exact same line. Why would I go? Because that's your starting point. The y-intercept is always going to be your starting point, lightning bug. Always, 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 always. Whatever this variable is. So if I say, and this is a side note, so people don't go crazy. Like, where'd you get the 5 from? So if I had an equation, y equals 1/4 x minus 7. Okay, if I had an equation that started out like that, where would I start on the y-axis? I'm starting at -7. That minus sign is acting as a negative for the 7. So when you do your, oh, I gotta hurry up. So when I do my x's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means my first point would be right here. That's your starting point. That's where you start. Now, I need to look at my slope. My slope is going to tell me where to go. So from this point, not from the origin, this is where everybody gets things wrong. From this point, I'm looking at my slope. My slope says 1/4. That means it's a positive 1. That means I'm going up 1. And then it's a positive 4. That means I'm going to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that will be your line. Okay, you're so welcome. All right. So that's the part that probably, especially for people that are like, Audrey, I just can't get out of that 10-point club for the GED. What am I doing wrong? You're skipping or you're doing errors on anything dealing with slope, anything dealing with the equation of the line. That's what is going wrong. This is a 4-point question, and you can do it one of 3 ways, and you do it the way that you understand it. It has nothing to do with how I do it, how someone else does it. You pick the way that works for you. If the intercepts worked for you, do that, boo-boo. If doing the table worked for you, do that, boo-boo. If doing the putting it in slope intercept form works for you, do that, boo-boo. All right, helps so much, good. All right, do what works best for you. You are no longer, and this is one thing, I love my teachers, but some of y'all, okay, you know who you are because you right on vacation mode right now, thinking like, I'm not doing anything for the summer, okay? There are some teachers, they say, I want you to do it my way. Okay, you have to respect it if you're in their classroom, but they did not invent math, okay? There is multiple ways, and I just showed you, for you to get the same answer, okay? Just watching and enjoying this lesson. All right, good. She's like, be careful of the language, girl. I was like, I got you. All right. So I don't want you to be disrespectful, but here's my thing. There are multiple ways of getting the same answer. So even though, or although I'm basically talking to people that are 20 plus, that are going back to the classroom, a lot of the stuff that I'm saying also applies to every day. Okay? It makes you mad, right? And then depending on what they want, I want you to do it the integer way. Okay, but I kind of like the table way. I understand it. Well, the table way takes too long. But I understand it this way, and once I feel comfortable with this, I will try do it this way. Or once I feel comfortable with this, I will do it the slope intercept way. Okay. All right, thank you. Right? So I just want you to understand, like, there are multiple ways, and you have to figure out which way works best for you. Right? Thank you, thank you, girl. Thank you. Hey, Shakira. Thank you. Because there's a lot of teachers that will say, I want it done my way. And then I have to like release them, especially the ones that I tutor, because I'm like, if you don't give me information on what is your way, and I will gladly help translate it or decode it so the student can understand it, I can't help the child, right? Everyone knows there's multiple ways of doing it. And this is the main reason why. And I had my little makeshift one. I made it yesterday, so I didn't get rid of it, but I wanted to bring it back again. This is what's wrong. Why we can't really learn math. It's because, and this is a tree, I know, I'm not Bob Ross, but just work with me. All right? So the green is your ground, is your grass, is your structure. You know, the surrounding area. Is it nutrients? Is it building you up? Is it growing? Is it giving you opportunities? Do you have resources to have water, to have soil, to have the vitamins that you need to grow? And the soil, when you look at it, you got your roots. Now the roots of your math education is dealing with the arithmetic. Is dealing with the foundation, the adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, fractions, decimals, percents. I didn't get this when I was in school. I remember crying every time. But because I didn't have the strong structure and the roots, that made me struggle when I was in algebra. And I felt like everyone got it except for me. And it wasn't because I was stupid. It was because I wasn't given opportunities to have it marinate in my brain. It was like boom, 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 boom. We're going to do this today. We're going to do this today. And just like I said earlier, I had a teacher that used math as a punishment. Again, 3rd grade. So now if I don't have a strong trunk, a strong structure here to hold me up, I'm going to struggle with the other branches. Okay? I'm going to struggle with the geometry, the algebra 2, the pre-calculus, the calculus, the statistics. I'm going to struggle with every day trying to figure out, is this a good deal, yes or no? That's why a lot of businesses can tell you, oh, we're going to take up to 20% off. I hate that. Is it 20% yes or no? Don't tell me there's up to stuff. But because we don't have the solid foundation, that's why you can't do word problems. That's why you struggle with fractions. That's why you freak out when it doesn't give you a perfect whole number. Okay? You struggle with fractions and decimals. Exactly. All right? Usually I get here about 7. Okay? Usually I'm here about 7. And I'm going to have to wrap up soon because I have a client. Late night client. So this is one of the reasons why, if I may, and I'm going to put this out here, this is the reasons why I developed my book. Okay? Algebra at Your Pace. It's a 10-book series that hits on all the concepts that you will see in the GED, the ASVAB, the TEAS test, the HESI test, and the ACCUPLACER. Okay? All the fundamentals things. Now, this is also great for people that are going into algebra and they need assistance. Or it might be someone that just wants a refresher. So what happens is I start from the very beginning. I look at the different types of numbers. And what you do is you scan the Scantron, and it will take you to a playlist after you put your email in, and you will watch me breaking down concepts. Like adding integers, I give you a section for you to write your notes. I also give you practice problems as you do during the video, and an exit ticket. And I break it down step by step, just like how I did these problems. Okay? And then what happens after a couple of them, I give you some extra practice problems for you to solidify what you learned. And we do that through everything. Positive, negative decimals, fractions, properties of exponents, and also square roots. That's going to be the first book. Now, there are going to be certain rules that you probably forgot, and that's why I give you guys a reference sheet. Okay, how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide decimals, fractions. Also taking a look at the rules of integers, all listed out in color. Okay, this really helps, yes. So order of operations, properties of exponents. And if you don't know your multiplications and you need factors, that's why we have the factor sheet. Okay, let me turn that up a little bit. Okay, so I give you those things, and as a gift on the first one, I also give you basically flashcards for you to practice on your exponents. This side is the questions, this side is the answer. So you can either rip it out of the book, cut it out of the book. If you're like me, I still have my old laminator, so I have like, this is the front, that's the back. So you can get more of that practice. Yep, this is my book. I actually designed these. I have 10 books in total, and what I do is I hit on all the concepts. So I am actually doing a summer starter bundle because a lot of people, we get anxious when you hear 10 books. You're like, oh God, can I finish those 10 books? I don't know if I can, Audrey. I don't know. Because you're already in a state of overwhelm. Because I did graphing 3 different ways. That's a lot. Your brain is like, ooh, that was a lot of information. So you're already in overwhelm. You're already speaking about that hurt child inside that's like, you're not going to do this. Why are you listening to this woman? Like, ugh, just move on. Watch another cat video, okay? But what I have is called the Summer Starter Pack. You will get Volume 1 as well as Volume 2. Volume 2 deals with functions, factors, proportions, ratios, and the famous order of operations. Notice there's some word problems in here to help you work it out and go through step by step. And you also get an end of chapter quiz just to make sure you're okay. Again, with some additional resources, but then I added some order of operation practice cards. I call them my matching cards because once you solve, another card is the solution. And you have to figure out which one goes with which. So then that's like a whole, I think it's like 25 to 30 cards. And then of course I give you an answer key at the very back. So you know which one is going to be which. And if you have questions, you got them. Yep, next to my profile name. Thank you, dark skin. Thank you. All right, so this is the instructional piece. Again, all you have to do, because I got Y's, you scan your QR code and then you get access to the playlist of me breaking down all the concepts in each book. But just because you have the instruction, you need practice. You have to practice the way you're going to assess. So this is what I have. 6 full-length tests. I took all the stuff that you see on GED because I used to teach a GED course. That's why I know so much about the GED. The ASVAB, okay? Right now, I'm tutoring how many? 3 people right now to get ready for their ASVAB. And then the ACCUPLACER, there's 1 person on the wing. All right? 7 o'clock, Eddie. 7 o'clock. All right? So now, here you go. All you have to do is just sit down and try to take the test. Each test has 35 questions to it. So all together in this book, 210 questions. 210 questions. Some of them ranging from circle graphs, some of them mean, median, mode. Hey, this looks familiar. Okay. A little bit of factoring, a little bit of adding, subtracting polynomials. All that's in there. So you can feel comfortable when it's time for you to take the test. So I know instead of overwhelming you with all 10 books, I decided to make a summer starter. And the summer starter comes with the 2 instructional books from Algebra at Your Pace. Also comes with the practice book, and all this is digital. So once you pay for it, boom, check your email. It's given right to you. Okay? And on top of this, the practice problems that you guys see on Volume 1, I actually did a video recording of all the practice problems in Volume 1, step by step, how I solved it. Because how many times do you look at an answer key or answer sheet and you're like, oh, okay, how did she get +3? I don't, okay, the answer is 3. And all you're doing is just memorizing that. Now, you can actually have me walk you through each and every one of the extra practice problems. So now you can build up your reassurance. You can build up your confidence. And in addition to the video walkthrough, as I like to call it, I have what's called reassurance days. So I think for this one, it's going to be on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. for a half an hour. You're coming. Like if you go, it's because you got stuck. You saw the video, but you still feel a little stuck and you want to get unstuck. Instead of sitting and wallowing like, I don't know, I wish I could talk to Audrey. Now you can. And all I do is I send you the link. It's a Zoom link. And I sit here for like roughly like a half an hour. And I break down the concept for you just for you to get unstuck. Okay? So that's the summer set. All of that for $42. Right? You're like, what? I was like, yep. It's normally valued at $70. I'm doing that at $42. Okay? If you are like, oh, I think I need to go a little bit further, like your foundation's a little more shaky and you want to go further after you do the summer starter, then you want the foundation system. And that will give you books 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? So 3, 4, 5, 6, that's when you're going into solving equations for volume 3. Linear equations, anything that we just did today with the slope, with the graphing, as well as volume 5 and 6, which is combined into one, of inequalities, system of equations, system of inequalities, and absolute values. Okay? That is going to be the foundation system. All right? So, once I'm done with the live, and I would love to learn more about everybody, but I know some people are just like, I want to stay to myself. I got you. Let me talk to you. And then I got to skedaddle. Let's see. Hide. Doesn't want to hide? Maybe? Maybe not? Okay. I've been having problems with my hide lately. Okay, maybe we're not going to hide. All right, so then I'll just talk to you like this. So when it comes down to it, I would love to know what your plan is. Because once I end the live, I don't want you to just go away or go to another live and then just forget about everything that you learned. I want you to basically take the information and let's build a plan. How are we going to study different from what you were doing before? Because before, no shung, no shade or anything. If you passed it, you wouldn't be here. Let's be real, okay? So there's something that we're going to have to do differently so we can get that different result. So where I would like for you guys, if you want to come in, you can do the starter. Okay, the summer starter will be the perfect thing for you. But as soon as I'm done with the live, I also have a freebie to see where you are for the skill set. Okay, again, when the live's over, you can do one of two things. You can go straight to the link, or you can message me and tell me what your plan is. Tell me what test are you taking and what have you done to prepare for it so far. Oh, you got an 80 on your eye? Nice. There you go, Renegades. Look at you. I haven't seen you in a minute. That's probably why you were doing all that successful stuff. Good job. Okay. Does your book cover all grade levels or different books? Well, it basically covers from 7th grade to adults. So it's dealing with a lot of Algebra 1 components, some geometry, a little bit of trig, especially Pythagorean theorem. So it's really hitting like Algebra 1, Algebra 2, which is generally what is being tested. Okay, which is generally being tested. Okay, so I'm going to end the live. In about like 5 minutes, I'll come and I'll check on any comments. But do you have materials for youth entering into 8th grade? Yes, this will be perfect for them. The summer starter would be perfect for them. Because a lot of the components, especially if they're doing algebra as an 8th grader, even if they're coming right out of pre-algebra, these are the concepts that they need to review. So this will be perfect for them. And if anything, try it out with the summer starter. And then we can progress from there. Because we all know if you want to do the ultimate with everything, that means all of my books, all 10 of my books, every single book that I give you, the 10 books, the practice book, I'm going to connect my videos. I did videos for all of these answer keys. Every single problem, all 210 questions in this book, I did an answer key for, a video answer key for. That's what this last one is. Okay, so all 10 of my books, I'm throwing in 2 practice books. I'm throwing in the video walkthrough for all of the extra practice problems and all of the quizzes, as well as offering a couple reassurance days per week. Okay, so if you want just one of the books, it's there, it's listed. But I really would love to know which grade, or not which grade, which test you're taking, and roughly what are you doing to prepare for it, and when is the next test. I would love for you to do that. All right? Okay, so I'm going to go because I have to get myself ready for my assessment, but I will definitely give you guys a message back this evening. If you can't get to it tonight and you get to it tomorrow, that'll be great. I'm going to respond back to you either way. All right, I wish I can switch my camera back to say hi properly instead of like doing all this. Okay, maybe I'll just do something weird like this. Okay, this is me. Hi, it was so good seeing everybody. Okay, this is creepy. It was so good seeing everybody coming in, but definitely message me. Okay, definitely message me. Do not let fear hold you back. You got this. You got this. All right. Okay, everyone, have an amazing evening, and I will talk with you soon. I'm going to be looking for your DMs. All right, bye now. Or maybe not. It just doesn't want to end. They want you to stay on. Well, you need to pay me. Because I have to get all this stuff done. Alright, or maybe I could have done it that way. Alright, anyway. Now, sometimes it just gets stuck. Yeah, because I have my other person. I'm like, end! I gotta go to the bathroom. Yeah, take a shit. No, oh God. Are you sure you're off? Oh my goodness. What's going on? TikTok, let me go. Right? I'm still here, right? You want to do the GED? Okay.